Hello everyone, welcome to the series summarizing the novel Lord of the Mysteries on the AniMonolith channel. In continuation of previous parts, Klein continues his journey as a seer by gaining his first client at the Divination Club, a young woman named Anna, who seeks information about her missing fiancé, Joyce Meyer. Klein conducts a detailed fortune-telling session, combining star chart readings and the dreamscape divination method. In his vision, he sees Joyce struggling in a sea of blood, eventually reaching a gray-blue house with a toy windmill, a place he will return to after his ordeal. Klein also glimpses a disturbing image of a grand, ruined palace and feels a sinister presence, which he suspects could be linked to the Antigonos family's diary or some mystical entity. Joyce then recounted to Anna and her parents what he had been through. He described that when the grass boat left the port, it unfortunately encountered a pirate crew. The leader of the pirates was Nast, known as the King of the Five Seas. Fortunately for Joyce Meyer, Nast claimed to be a descendant of the Solomon Empire, adhering to the good quality of not killing prisoners, so Joyce's group was only robbed of their money and not their lives. Joyce's voice began to tremble as he recounted the most horrific event, the complete loss of control and madness among the crew and passengers on the grass boat during the next leg of the journey. He recounted how he was haunted by the sight of people becoming depraved and brutally killing each other. However, amidst that dire situation, a self-proclaimed hero named Trissy appeared. Thanks to him, Joyce and the others managed to hide safely in the ship's cabin while waiting for the right moment to act. When the crazed killers on the ship became extremely frantic, Trissy led everyone in an attack to eliminate them. Recalling the hero Trissy, Joyce described him as having a round face and a shy, almost girlish demeanor, though surprisingly articulate once you got to know him. Joyce then recounted the rest of their journey. The grass boat had faced storms, became lost, and encountered several challenges before finally reaching Anmat port. Though they were initially questioned by the police about a gruesome massacre, they were eventually allowed to return home once the investigation concluded. Joyce then couldn't help but wonder why Anna became extremely emotional upon seeing him, as he had intended to keep this secret to surprise her. However, Anna's behavior seemed as if she already knew everything. Hearing this, Anna did not hide anything and told him about her fortune-telling regarding Joyce's situation. The fortune-teller had told her to return home quickly because her fiancé, who had just experienced a terrible accident, was currently sitting at her house. At this news, Joyce was extremely astonished. He even thought that Klein might have some connections with the police to obtain that information. But even if Klein knew about the accident, he couldn't possibly know where Joyce was or what he was doing to be so accurate. In the end, Anna's family believed it was the mystery of fortune-tellers, something that ordinary people could not explain. Meanwhile, at the Divination Club, Klein heard from Angelica that he had received very positive feedback from Anna. Klein then resolved to further strengthen his reputation to attract more clients. After that, Klein left the club and returned home. Upon arriving at his home on Primrose Street, Klein didn't forget to ask Melissa about the encounter with Mrs. Shade, a noblewoman who had come to greet the new neighbors today. Melissa said everything was fine, but she didn't like the mindset of the people from the Church of the Lord of Storms. They believed that girls didn't need an education. Hearing this, Klein thought it was entirely normal. Different religions have different aspirations, as long as they coexist peacefully. The Kingdom of Lone is a multi-religious nation with 3 major churches: the Church of the Lord of Storms, the Church of the Evernight Goddess, and the Church of the God of Steam and Machinery. Thus, it's inevitable that the people would have conflicting views. However, over the centuries, the churches have not been as hostile toward each other. This is in stark contrast to the Faesak Empire in the north, which only submits to the god of combat, or the Finebot Kingdom in the south, which only venerates the Earth Mother. After a harmonious evening conversation, Klein returned to his room to deal with his matters. He tried to organize the events he had experienced along with the hints he had received. Then Klein opened his notebook, took his fountain pen, and began writing in Chinese. Why is the key to digesting potions acting? Of course, with his penchant for deduction, Klein immediately thought of several possible answers. He considered that digesting a potion is a matter of literal interpretation. In this sense, means to treat its power as an external supporting tool, like a tamed beast. However, if it is not controlled, it can pose many risks. On the other hand, digesting means regarding the potion as a part of the body, breaking it down, merging it, absorbing it, and transforming it into a unified whole. Then, regarding the acting and why it can help digestion, Klein, based on today's experience, has made 2 conjectures. Firstly, acting according to the name of the potion can change the state of the body and soul, thus creating a resonance that gradually assimilates and absorbs it little by little. Secondly, if one wishes to infiltrate the potion, it is necessary to break through and disperse it to find the bug, thereby obtaining the key, much like bypassing a firewall in a computer system. The name of the potion serves as a clue to help penetrate that closed system. By acting, the user can regulate their body, mind, and soul, disguising themselves as a part of it. This way, it becomes easier to infiltrate and overcome it. Temporarily satisfied with his deductions, Klein decided to take more time to verify the truth of his speculations about the disgusting and acting potions. After that, Klein did not rest but continued to raise another perplexing issue. Why are seers evaluated as possessing extensive knowledge and high expertise in the field of mysticism yet cannot cope with enemies? Klein thought that once one becomes a true seer, they would know more ways to counter their foes. In light of this absurdity, Klein presented 4 arguments. First, the world Klein lives in resembles a game, where each character has distinct missions to level up, so if one has not resolved certain tasks, they will be restricted in some abilities. Second, the creator of this world established rules of balance. Third, potions and sequences share the same energy. Thus, if one exceeds this energy threshold, they risk losing control. Conversely, being below this threshold means they cannot obtain beyond their power. Therefore, at a certain energy level, if one aspect is stronger, another will be weaker, much like the inverse ratio in mathematics. And fourth is everything shares a common origin due to the differentiation of the creator, as per the creation myth of this world. Hence, the mutual supplementation of each part is interconnected. Klein concluded that he leaned toward the logic of the third and fourth arguments. However, the fourth type, which related to legends, was difficult to verify. Therefore, the third type would serve as a guiding principle for Klein to investigate the results through study and experience. Although he had been contemplating many complex issues, Klein did not stop there and continued to pose another equally perplexing question about the luck-changing ritual he had used. According to what he learned from Old Neil, similar magical rituals are divided into 3 parts. The first part is the offering to pique the interest of the mysterious entity or gods regarding the supplicant. The second part is a specific incantation describing the object of the plea, and the third part requires the use of specific language and symbols to clearly express the request to receive accurate assistance. Recalling these 3 necessary steps for performing a magical ritual, Klein began to compare them with the luck-changing ritual he had previously conducted, which involved placing 4 offerings, then moving counterclockwise, and finally praying to the deities of Taoism. Klein was shocked to discover that during his first execution of the ritual, he had not explicitly asked for anything, he had merely closed his eyes and waited. Therefore, it was likely that the mysterious entity or gods did not know what the supplicant wanted, and thus they granted him something random. Thinking about the situation he had to endure, all due to the disorganized ancient book he purchased from a second-hand bookstore, Klein felt very frustrated. However, he quickly calmed down and began to compare the similarities and differences between his executions of the luck-changing ritual. Klein realized that if the first and second times were random choices made by the gods or mysterious entities, then why were the second and third experiences alike? In both instances, Klein was able to reach the mysterious world within the gray fog, and he was also able to summon the hanged man and justice at will. To verify the stability of the luck-changing ritual, Klein decided to experiment in the 4th instance, which would be the next time he performed it. He would make a new plea. If the ritual was not firmly established, changes would surely occur. Klein then temporarily set this issue aside, as a much larger question emerged. What was the identity of the mysterious entity or gods he had connected with, and why had they not provided him with any hints or guidance? Klein concluded that perhaps the deity was sleeping, thus indifferent to the development of what they had granted. This implied that God would create certain impacts while summarizing the rules to find the accurate means to return to Earth depended on Klein's ability to adapt. Thinking this way gave Klein some hope, but then he immediately considered a more negative perspective. If God was not sleeping and was arranging everything according to their rules or desires, then Klein had to be extremely careful if he wanted to redesign what they had created. Once he had a target to aim for, Klein continued to think and jot down in his notebook events that could become clues for returning to Earth. These included the mysterious whispers that always arose when Klein had a sense of the Antigonos family's diary. Among them, 2 words were repeatedly mentioned. One was Hornacis, referring to the mountain range where the nation of Evernite resided, and the other was fredula, a term Klein had yet to decipher the meaning of. However, regarding the word hornasis, Klein associated it with the possibility that the Antigonos family's diary and the nation of Evernight might be related. Since the Antigonos family had been destroyed by the Church of the Evernight, he could infer from the bridging nature of the connection about the overlapping relationships among the parties involved. In addition, Klein was also very interested in why the Antigonos family could be destroyed. The fact that they left behind the diary and the sealing item 2049 indicated that they possessed very strong beyonder power. Therefore, Klein wondered what pathway sequence the Antigonos family held and whether it was complete or incomplete. At the same time, he questioned whether the diary falling into the black market, then into Welch's hands, and subsequently into Ray Bieber's hands was merely a coincidence or if it was a predetermined arrangement of fate. Klein then focused on the notes he had painstakingly written in Chinese that evening. Once he had systematically organized the important information in his mind, he immediately burned all the notes to prevent anyone else from discovering any clues. He also wanted to avoid the chilling gaze of the mysterious entity he always encountered when using spirit vision to uncover the truth. Klein then decided to summarize the events and details related to his return home week by week so that he could remember them more clearly and safely.